You are listening to the Disney Dream Girls, an unofficial Disney Theme Parks podcast, and this is show number 345 for Sunday the 3rd of January 2021.
Where dreams begin.
Well, hello and welcome to this week's Disney Dream Girls. My name is Michelle Young, and together with my jolly good chum Jane Phipps, we are your guides to the place where dreams begin. New year, same spiel, but is it the same Phipsy on the other end of this call?
I hope so. I don't think I've changed overnight.
Yay.
I think it's the same one. Happy New Year, Michelle.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year, listeners. I hope you're all well.
Yeah, let's hope 2021 is going to be a good year for all of us. I think we all deserve it, don't we?
I see many carrots being dangled in front of our eyes about vaccines and things improving. So, yeah, let's keep everything crossed. And that's basically going to be the main topic of our conversation today anyway, isn't it? What's coming in 2021. But
yeah,
before we crack on with all of that, I've got some Disney history, Janie.
Oh, okay.
Which is a bit of a turn up for the books, because normally I get you to dig it out for me.
So what have you come up with?
Well, did you know, and I never knew this, that today's date, the 3rd of January 1969, which makes him older than me, which makes me feel really good about myself, the Formula One racing car driver Michael Schumacher was born in Germany, West Germany.
Right, okay. Well, I'm older than him then, right, okay.
Do you know what the Disney connection is?
Wasn't he something to do with cars? I was going to say a voice, but I don't think it's a voice. Is it a voice? I don't know. Cars.
Yeah, he voiced Michael Schumacher's Ferrari, which was a character based on him in Disney's film,
right.
Disney Pixar's film, Cars.
Right.
I know, a bit of a stretch, I know, but I thought that was quite interesting because, you know, I like a bit of car racing.
Yeah, it's a long while since I've watched Cars.
I must admit, I agree with you there. I think it's due a re-watching, but maybe not that dodgy one. I can't remember if it was 2 or 3 that was really bad.
I think it was 3.
Was it 3?
Yeah, I think it was like we're pushing the boat out a bit now, and it really shouldn't have left the dock. It should have stayed in dock and not been tried. But yeah, I want to say 1 and 2 were okay, but I think it was like that usual thing of like, oh, we'll do another one because the first 1 and 2 were brilliant, and it's like, really, you shouldn't have done. You should have just stopped. Mind you, there's quite a lot of merch out of it, and I've still got little ones at my preschool. Love Lightning McQueen, so something about it must have been right.
I've got some Snow White news.
Okay.
You know, 1937. January 4th, the first cells of the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs are taken to the Disney Ink and Paint department at the studio on Hyperion Avenue in California because Walt wants them to crack on with this project and get it out just before Christmas for a big movie time release.
Yeah, I think it might have done all right, that one. If my memory serves me right.
Yeah, I think it was one of the better Disney films, you know.
Yeah, I think it won the odd award or two, didn't it?
It won my heart, Jane. It won my heart.
That's enough then, isn't it?
Yeah. We did have some sad news at the beginning of the year, though. January 1st, to be honest. If you recall the other week we were talking about this, I think it was on our Disney Dream Girls podcast family quiz, about Ron Dominguez, who to many was known as Mr. Disneyland. He was a former executive vice president of Disneyland, a Disney legend. Well, he sadly passed away on the 1st of January at the age of 85. He was an original Disneyland cast member, and his family actually owned and lived on a 10-acre orange grove that was purchased by Walt Disney to build Disneyland in 1954. And if you remember, I was talking about the Dominguez Palms.
Yes, quite, yes, yeah. I do now, yeah.
Yeah. First day on the job, 13th of July 1955, when as a mere 20-year-old he took a summer job as a ticket taker at the park. And he soon moved on and wandered all the way up to the high echelons. Aww.
That's not really, I mean, obviously his little nickname title of Mr. Disneylander is really very appropriate to have been literally having lived on the land and then to have retained that close connection and done as much as he did with his career. It's truly amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, rest in peace, my lovely, and thank you for everything you and your family did to make Disneyland the wonderful place that it is.
Definitely.
I don't know if you managed to dig out any Disney news, lovely.
Well, I've got a little bit of a thing that we were watching some videos and stuff recently, and there's lots of rumours going around about Star Wars Galaxy's Edge possibly being rethemed, which I thought was like, oh, okay. And apparently there's talk that The Mandalorian might be working its way some way, shape or form into Galaxy's Edge, which I thought would be really interesting. So Sam and I were trying to figure out how on earth they could do it, which is a bit of a push when you think about Rise of the Resistance, because obviously Rise of the Resistance has got all the sequel characters in it. So we've been contemplating over the last 2 days. We've got our own ideas of how they can do it and which characters they could bring in and what have you. So it would be really interesting to see whether or not these little rumours become true or not. I know it's a little bit of an aside, but I thought, oh yeah, it's interesting the success of a TV show could have that big an influence on what we see in the parks, which I thought would be interesting to watch over. I can't imagine it happening in the blink of an eye, but it'd be definitely something to watch over the coming months, I think, and years possibly.
Well, I don't know about you, but every time I open up social media, there is another Grogu, Baby Yoda, the child, whatever you want to call him, meme on social media. So he is obviously been incredibly well received and been taken to the hearts of many of my friends, listeners and followers on social media because they love posting about the little chap.
Yeah, which does kind of lead into think, doesn't it, that if they've got something that is proving to be that popular and wanting to make money where they can through all the merchandising aspects, if it was something that they could put into a land like Galaxy's Edge, then it would be a really opportune thing for them to do. It just depends, I suppose, how much tweaking and altering they would need to do to make it fit in with that time frame. But I think it would make a lot of Star Wars fans happy because it would be harking back to more of the time frame of the original trilogy, which I think is probably what majority of fans wanted Galaxy's Edge to be themed more like, possibly. Food for thought anyway, isn't it?
Well, and at the end of the day, as we've seen, Disney is not a charitable institution. They're there about the ka-ching, and that's what they need to keep on focusing on, because there's been a lot of talk from people that we know who have recently been to the theme parks, like Halle and Eric Warren, who have just been there literally yesterday as we're recording. And, a lot of the attractions now are doing full loads, where the full amount of people are actually on the vehicles now, whether it's been obtained through plexiglass or not, because Disney are wanting to get those queues down, get more people through, churning them through, because if they stood in line, they're not spending the money.
No, and I think what a lot of people don't realise, Michelle, is that the majority of Disney's income does actually come from the theme parks. Although Disney is particularly well known, everybody will think of movies and you think of Marvel and Star Wars and goodness knows what else. The biggest income generator for them is their resorts and the cruise line and the parks. It would be in their best interest and in our best interests, to be fair, because if we want to be able to go and visit these places and have all the new attractions that we want to see and that have all been delayed over the past 8 to 12 months, well, maybe eight months or so. We know there's been lots of delays have been hit, and we know that some of the attractions that were on the cards that should have been either opened by now or were scheduled for 2021 are getting pushed back because of those delays. Then anything they can do to generate extra income, and if that is a case of increasing the park capacities, making judgment calls on loading of rides, etc., then they're going to have to do it, aren't they, to get that income level back up again.
Now, changing the subject completely.
Okay.
I don't know whether I should take this on as a April the 1st news item, because to me, looking at the imagery and reading the story on WDW News Today, it's like, what? But seemingly Walt Disney World has introduced a new innovation to its golf courses to its golf courses called robo-carts. And they're robotic carts to carry your clubs while following you around. They follow you thanks to a GPS transmitter that you clip onto your belt. And if you stop walking, the cart stops.
Okay, yeah. Oh, right, yeah. I can see that working, yeah.
So, we'll see. They don't look particularly Disney, they're just like a little tri-wheeler thing that basically your hubster could have made in your kitchen sink. But
probably has at some point, Michelle. You know what he's like.
Yeah, but by the side of these pictures, there's the golf cart you can actually hire at the golf cart courses. And I've never seen one of them before. And it's a yellow cart with a plastic sort of set of clubs down the side. And it's got this Mickey on the front. And it just ages the Mickey a little bit to many decades ago. Because obviously the Mickey that we see in the parks now don't look anything like this.
Bless. Well, when you start taking up golf, Michelle, then you can report back and tell us all about them.
Oh no, a golf is a ruination of a good walk. But if you pop on over to our website, DisneyDreamGirls.com, I'll pop a couple of pictures on and you can see what I mean about these little tricycles. So anyway.
Interesting.
So that's basically all the chitter chatter. I just want to say thank you to quite a few people who've been messaging and saying, oh, you sounded a lot better on last week's podcast. And thank you. I am getting there. I've had a rough couple of days. I don't know why, whether I've just had a setback or what, where I've been a bit rough. But COVID, hopefully, is on its way out. So I just need to get my taste buds back and then I can start eating all the Christmas candies.
You're going to have to, I don't know, ration yourself, Michelle, when your taste buds come back. Because what you don't want to be doing is just gorging on it, or you're going to have one hell of a sugar high and then one hell of a sugar drop, aren't you, if you're not careful?
Yeah, true. Anyway, we'll see. Anyway, we've got a super duper show for you. And as we're recording today, we have got screams of discontent for our Christmas ornaments because we both packed them all away, haven't we?
Yeah, I hate doing the Christmas decoration pack away. It's depressing, if truth be known.
But it needs to be done.
It does, but I don't like it.
Well, so let's start thinking about this year, 2021. Hopefully is the year that me and thee get back in the theme parks. And there are some pretty good deals going on at the moment. So we do need to keep our eyes, ears and wallets at the ready to start booking if we feel it is safe to do so. But some of the projects that we were expecting to open, in 2020, didn't. And I think it's kind of interesting to look ahead to see if there's actually going to be any of them opening in 2021.
Right.
So I think let's hop on over to think about Epcot. Because
right, okay.
To me, I love Epcot, but there's so many things going on, particularly with regards to the entrance area, because this whole area itself has been under a lot of refurbishment for a fair number of years now, with the entire area around Spaceship Earth being remodelled, the big metallic legacy sundial heat absorption plaques being removed and a whole new area is coming in, but that area is not going to complete until 2022, I believe.
Oh wow. But I think I think we're going to have to expect to see a lot of this, aren't we, because of obviously money's going to be an issue. The delays that have happened over 2020 is all these things that we hoped, and obviously Disney World hoped would have been in place for the 50th anniversary, are probably going to get pushed and shoved a little bit, and it must be difficult for them to decide what stays or what goes or what gets done now or what gets delayed until a future date. So it can't be easy decisions to make.
It's looking like Spaceship Earth's revamp. We haven't got a date even for that attraction of when we're going to see anything being done on there. And all I can recall is from my past trip that every time I seem to go on that attraction, it had some sort of malfunction and we were stationary for not like the usual minute while they were helping someone with an ECV on or off or anything, but like 15-20 minutes.
Oh, wow.
So I think it is due for a little bit of the old spruce up, but we shall see if it does come to fruition. So we're thinking also the big redesign at the front of Epcot, where we're going to be getting this 3-level festival centre and the 3 neighbourhoods.
Yeah, it's hard to get it kind of in your head as exactly what it's going to look like and what it's going to actually contain in it all. Because at the moment, every time I look at photos, all I see is construction walls.
Yeah, true. No date as yet for Harmonious, although they are trying to get it pushed, but it's looking like it's probably going to be all the way forward in October before we see that debuting.
Well, I suppose it would be cool with obviously October being anniversary time, so that would be nice if it did actually get up and running by then. I mean, some of the barges and the constructions that I've seen photos of do look astounding, really. It's you don't really appreciate with any of these, particularly at Epcot, with all the barges that they use for all the lights and the fireworks, etc. Because you see it at night times, you never see the construction, do it? You just see the after effects of it, which is what you're supposed to see. But yeah, the photos that I'm seeing of these barges and what have you, they're amazing constructions.
What about this space restaurant, Space 220?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's another one. I know that recently they said that some of the walls have come down, and I noticed that there was a sign that's now just kind of blocked off. It's not visible, but you can see where the sign is going to be. And so obviously, again, it was supposed to be this year, I think, but it's looking like between March and May 21 now. But, you know, it's a bit of a vague sort of timeline, isn't it?
I think that's I think the delays a lot to do with the fact of ventilation and people being allowed to eat in an internal enclosed environment rather than the restaurant not actually being open.
Yeah, this is very true.
And then they had all that kerfuffle originally with the head chef that they had, and then he left.
Oh, I forgot all about that, Michelle. Yeah, and I suppose again you've got the elevator aspect as well, haven't you? So it's not like you're straight in and up and there. You've got to go up an elevator to get to it.
Yeah. I don't know if that's going to be one for me to go and eat at. Maybe paying a premium for the space views. I think I'm going to wait and see till I get some reviews of what the food and the cuisine and the price point is like. But I think for my next trip back, I can't see that going to be the hot ticket. I think the hot ticket for me are going to be places that I know I love and I have missed their cuisine, rather than trying out something on an untested pony, if you like.
I think it's, as you say, Michelle, I think once this is up and opening and you get an idea of what the menu is and you start seeing those reviews coming in, then, you know, it may change your mind. But at the moment, it's a bit, I think, you know, because it's one of those names, oh yeah, Space 220 restaurants come in, you go up and you see space. I think there's been so much about the aesthetics of it that we've not really been given an awful lot of information about the food side of things. So it's a bit of a, I don't know, it's kind of like, oh yeah, it's happening, but I don't really know what it is yet, sort of thing. Yeah.
Another one I'm looking forward to, though, on this hand, is the Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind.
Yeah, we saw the little coaster vehicles, didn't we, not so long ago, and they look quite intriguing, little 4-seater things. But again, I think this is kind of perhaps going to feel the brunt of delays, and we were hoping some of this year, but it looks like it might be a year delayed, possibly, but we don't know.
I can't see it opening this year. I think it's going to be 2022, and I think with the anniversary coming up, I think it's going to just be an event that takes place over a couple of years, and Disney are well known for spreading out those special anniversaries anyway.
I'm going to say they tend to run like an 18-month cycle anyway, don't they, at the best of times? And I suppose, are they perhaps focusing on smaller stuff and getting all the little bits done, and so you've got things that can open, rather than these bigger, I was going to say monstrosities, not monstrosities, but, you know, the bigger scale aspects like Guardians of the Galaxy that are a lot more involved and a lot more testing has to be done before they can be opened and that type of thing. Whereas perhaps the things that are a bit more, like the repainting of the castle, that are more of a visual, I'm going to say a quick touch. I know they're not quick, but do you know what I mean in comparison to some of the bigger items that we're talking about?
And then there's the big play thing, area, zone, malarkey, and as neither of us have littlies that'll be wanting to go there, but there is this play pavilion, possibly the end of this year, possibly the start of next year, and then there's also the Moana Journey of Water, which again, it's going to happen. It's just when it's going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, this is a good thing because I think there was a fear that a lot of these things that we've been told about, when we know a lot of things have been shelved, but it was beginning to feel at one point nothing's going to happen ever again. So it is kind of nice to see that these are still being talked about and they are going to happen. We're just maybe going to have to accept that, it would have been lovely for them to all have taken place, 21 for the anniversary, but it's perhaps not going to work out that way now.
For us, we are incredibly blessed. We've been on the French version of Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, so we know what is coming, and we're both incredibly excited about seeing this in Walt Disney World because definitely. It is such a cute, attractive, immersive environment. But again, that's going to be quite a long wait for that one.
Yeah, I noticed the other day that there was and I'm not into me TikTok and all this sort of thing, but there was some TikTok person or whatever got taken round, and somebody pointed out the interesting thing was they were inside the attraction and they weren't wearing hard hats, which kind of implied that all the construction work inside was complete. Because obviously if they were in there and it was still a working site, they'd have to have hard hats on. Don't know whether I'm just being a little bit hopeful or not. I don't know. And I know there's been lights that have been seen on outside of the area where the ride is going to be. So there's lots of things that I've seen that are kind of happening that's perhaps teasing that it's maybe not that far away. So fingers crossed, because it's a fab little ride, and it's a very much one of those rides that you'll happily go on again and again and again, isn't it?
Okay, let's say goodbye to Epcot and go to the park that we know is going to be 50 this coming year. It has something close to my heart because me and it share a birthday year. And when you think of the Magic Kingdom and think about what's going to be coming to there, that's going to be the most transformational, the most exciting, is that Tron Light Cycle is going to be making its way across from overseas and debuting in the Magic Kingdom. I remember my last trip in the Magic Kingdom having to walk all the way out of Space Mountain via the back route over the train tracks because of construction. Every time I was on the People Mover, I was trying to get a video of it. Initially, we were kind of hoping that it would be October 1st, and I know our good friend Stephen Klemowsko's got all crossed because that's where he will be this year. But I don't know. I don't know if it's going to open or not, because there was something I saw yesterday on social media saying that construction doesn't seem to be going ahead at the moment.
Well, it's a weird one because I think I've seen bits that would be contrary to that where things are happening. I know I saw something the other day where some of the scaffolding support structures were coming down, and you could see obviously the track outside of the building. But then there was this really peculiar thing. I don't know if you've seen this, Michelle, but there's a point where the track goes into the building. And what they've actually done is they filled in the gap that would be there that you would need for the ride vehicles to go through. So it's blocked off. So I said, well, is that so you can't, people going by on the People Mover, and we know what all these bloggers and vloggers are like, trying to get, up-to-date information. I said, has that been done so that you can't see what's happening inside the building? I don't know, because it's a strange thing to have done. They've like literally blocked off the hole that you would pass through on your Tron cycle. So is that an indication that things are happening on the inside that they don't want you to see yet? I don't know. Again, it's just speculation, isn't it? Yeah. But I know for a long while that during obviously the earlier part of 2020 that there was next to no work happening on the ride, and I know there's been reports of things happening again, and I think it depends on. I think outdoor stuff has been able to happen because of social distancing, but I think the indoor stuff perhaps has been hampered. I don't know. It's just, guesswork. But yeah, it doesn't look likely now, does it, that October 21 deadline is going to be met.
True. And if you all recall, back in 2020, the big hoo-ha of the year was the announcement about Splash Mountain being reimagined into Princess and the Frog, and the lines of people going and buying up merchandise by the bucket load. Yeah. It's still open. You can still go ride on it in Walt Disney World. Obviously, Disneyland isn't open at the moment. But it's looking like there's no announcement of a date when it's actually going to close yet. Maybe that's down to financial reasons.
Well, yeah, I mean, I must admit, having looked at the Princess and the Frog movie for our Disney quiz last weekend, myself and Molly were talking about this. We just generally got talking. We'd actually been looking at some home movie video, and it happened to be of Splash Mountain. We've got some ride-through video that we'd taken ourselves. So we were going, well, you could do that and you could do this. And Molly has said to me, well, what's been said about it? And I went, I don't know. It's gone very quiet. We've not really seen very much in the way of concept art either, have we?
Not a great deal. Like, I've got an image in front of me now, and it's a little bit sparse on what they're going to do. So I reckon we'll get more information as the year goes on, and we'll find out if Tokyo's version will actually close, because no decision has been made on that. I highly imagine that Tokyo's management are going to turn around and say, hang on a minute, we want that, it's more up to date, it's more modern, it's a great franchise, we want that in the park rather than this. So I can see it happening, but I can see a big wait.
Yeah, and I think with things like Tron Life Cycle, particularly at Magic Kingdom still being in construction, they're going to surely want to get those jobs completed before they start taking down what is a relatively big attraction. You don't want to be, losing one of your mountains if you've not got something to take its place, do you?
True. Okay, Hollywood Studios then. Well, as far as I'm aware, there's nothing with regards to new attractions, but there is the new Toy Story Land expansion bit, if you like, because they're going to be adding up the Roundup Rodeo Barbecue Table Service restaurant. So this is going to be really exciting, because I can't beat a bit of a barbecue. And the other day we were talking on our family page all about the amazing Big Thunder Ranch barbecue that I'd last had a fair few years ago at New Year's. And to have that ability to go and get roasted meats in a really nice environment, we'll see. I am a bit worried that it is going to be like an enclosed environment. So again, it could be waiting for COVID rules to relax before we are actually allowed to go in. But it does look very colourful. It looks very bright. It definitely looks a place for the families.
Oh yeah, a definite family eatery. And like you say, Michelle, it's just going to be interesting to see if we can open up during this coming year, and if so, when, because of unfortunately the restrictions that's still in place at the moment, isn't it? So yeah, interesting times ahead, but it does look nice, and I'm like you, bit of roast meat, and I'm kind of there.
Over at Animal Kingdom, the only thing I really have got for Animal Kingdom is that they are basically taking away the Primeval Whirl roller coaster type thing, which I used to kind of enjoy riding. I was confused as heck about the theming, but I did always get a bit of a tummy tickle, and it sort of got that reminiscent twist and turn element of Crush's Coaster, which I enjoy.
Yeah, it's funny actually. Having watched some home video just a few nights ago, we'd actually commented on it, said exactly the same, because my leg was being pulled, Michelle, because you know how I feel about Crush's Coaster. I have ridden it, and I did say never again. I will now go back and say that, in fact, we haven't got Primeval Whirl. I probably will now ride Crush's Coaster again, because it's the closest thing I can get to it. I'm going to be a big girl, put my big girl pants on, and man up a little bit and get some of these rides ridden, I think. But yeah, we were saying, it's a shame because I always liked it. I agree with you. It's a bit of a weird one, Dino Land, because it was like that, meant to be like a carnival sort of area and one thing another, and it kind of doesn't feel 100% right in the animal kingdom. I suppose it's a bit of an anomaly, isn't it? But I always liked the ride. I thought it was good fun. We always had a giggle on it, a nice little family ride as well. But I'm sad to see it go, personally.
Well, it's one of those things, isn't it? Theme park will never stand still, and I think that is something that Walt himself was very proud of. That that it would not be a stationary thing, it would not be a museum, it would be a forever evolving area for people to enjoy, because technologies change, tastes change, but also, as we've seen, as we've mentioned earlier, with regards to Splash Mountain, our history and our acceptance, and if we can say our tolerance of things that have happened historically has changed.
Yeah, hopefully that we all grow and evolve as we get older, and we learn things, and we embrace what we learn, and we apply it.
Yeah, absolutely. Just finishing off thinking about Disney Springs, we were all drool-alicious the other week about Gideon's Bakehouse. It's gone and shut again.
Yeah, I'm guessing from what I've kind of read, and I'm hoping for their sake, that it was just kind of they'd opened as a bit of a soft opening over the festive period, and now they're going to take what they've learned and then reopen officially. I'm assuming that's what it's all about. I can't understand why else it would have closed.
Yeah, I think it was just a bit of a soft opening. Let's get some ka-ching, get some buzz and excitement growing about us, and then we're going to open up later on.
Which they did, because by all accounts, the queues were quite long at times.
Yeah, and drool-alicious. Oh my word, the pictures I saw of those cookies, and I've seen a fair few people have a go at recreating them, and I've never seen something that looks so sad in my life, with about 5 chocolate chips on it, and it's like, what? These cookies weigh half a pound. Give me some chocolate, woman.
I'm going to say, I must admit, I look at these pictures and say, you can't call that a cookie. It's about like the size of a small cake, isn't it? These are massive, these things. They look amazing, but they're not cookies. They're like a meal in themselves.
Yeah. Right, well, that's going to wrap up this week's show. If you want an additional piece of content from Jane and myself, we've just released a special show for our Patreon supporters, so why not pop on over there and check it out to see how you could get access to over 100 exclusive shows just from Jane and I, as our way of thanking people for their financial support. You can also follow us along on Twitter and Instagram at DisDreamGirls. Don't forget our website, DisneyDreamGirls.com. And finally, last but not least, there's always us over on Facebook, Disney Dream Girls Podcast Family, where we share our love of Disney and help each other get by with what little little bit of Disney we're able to capture into our lives right now. But until next week, it's a goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from me.